We are live. Welcome.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome. Hope everyone's doing all right today. I am Jeffrey Robinson. This is Graig Enders. Welcome to the IUS Horizon Sports Podcast. Today we're talking about recapping even Week 6 of the NFL season. We're going to talk a little MLB playoffs. Greg, how are you doing today?
I'm alive.
Yep.
Head hurting. Feet are moving. We're here.
So a lot happened this week. There is a lot to talk about, some upsets that some people in this room may be really excited about. Particularly, there's some things that were a little odd, some overreactions that we're going to talk about that I actually need to jot down. Let's see here. But first, we're going to have a conversation about the Broncos and Jets game. The Jets actually made this really close despite Justin Fields going 9 of 17 for 45 passing yards. It says -10 on here. I don't know what that means underneath passing yards. It's the same completions and attempts. Same average. Maybe it's a glitch. I don't know. But
just chalk it up. -10 yards.
He sucks, is what we're getting at. Breece Hall didn't have a good game. 22 carries for 59 yards. Their leading receiver was Josh Reynolds, who is 30, has a really big smile. Texas A&M. Anyway, for the Broncos, they also looked pretty bad. Offensively, J.K. Dobbins only had 40 yards rushing. Bo Nix had an incredibly mediocre game. 37 QBR, passer rating of 90. Their leading receiver was Evan Ingram. What are you thinking about? Final score of 13-11 Broncos.
I mean, both the teams played pretty horrendous for their standings. I mean, Justin Field, we all knew Jets probably were not going to win this one.
Mm-hmm.
Me being a Broncos hater, I always hope for the Jets to win, but I just think I was pretty excited how close it got. But, I mean, just the Jets are just – no. I think they might actually go – they might have an undefeated season.
Mm-hmm.
I think they may go 0-17 this year.
I mean, there's a chance. And the thing is, their offensive roster is not even that bad. Like, defensively, if you're going to give up 13 points to the Broncos, sure, the Broncos aren't the greatest team in the world, but Bo Nix has had some really good games this year, had some good games last year. You have Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, two, all-star caliber players, and Justin Fields sucks. Everyone was so excited for him at the beginning of the year. They were all talking about, oh, Justin Fields, he's going to save the Jets. They're going to have such a great game or such a great year. Even though they lost, they're going to be fine. But Justin Fields, it's freaking sucked.
Well, we know who won the trade now between the Jets and the Steelers.
Who'd the Steelers get?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, he was a part of that?
Wasn't he?
No,
I believe
Rodgers signed with them.
Who was traded with Fields?
They signed him.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I thought they traded him.
2-year, $20 million deal.
That's even worse.
Pretty sure.
I'm trying to think of what teams it was that was...
He got traded to the Steelers from the Bears, but signed a 2-year deal.
That's right.
So Justin Fields now has a game. Yes, he got hurt, but against the Bills, second game of the year, 3 of 11 for 27 yards. And 3 weeks later, 9 of 17 for 45 yards. I will say he hasn't thrown a single pick this year. He has a lot of rushing yards. He had 81 a few weeks ago against Miami, 48, 49 the first 2 weeks, 3 rushing touchdowns. So the legs are moving a lot because he got sacked 9 freaking times. That's why he's running so much, in case you were curious. They only throw the ball to Garrett Wilson. He had 8 targets. Josh Reynolds had 3. Everyone else had 1.
Justin Fields, welcome to McDonald's.
Yeah. So, also, everyone thought Daniel Jones was going to was going to work for McDonald's this time last year. Daniel Jones is playing really well. Indiana Jones is what they call him, and Jonathan Taylor is his sidekick. Jonathan Taylor continues to run the ball really well. He had a nice 30-yard run. Tyler Warren, the rookie out of Penn State, I believe, 6 catches, 6 of 9 for 63 and a touchdown. He had a really good game, one of the best games of his young career. Daniel Jones, like I said, continues to play well. Kyler Murray was out for this game, but I liked what I saw from the Cardinals offense without Kyler Murray. Jacoby Brissett, never thought you would hear me or anyone say that Jacoby Brissett threw for 320 yards. The Cardinals' rushing game is just so screwed. They have Bam Knight leading the way as their lead rusher, 24-year-old out of NC State. He's never done anything in his career. He had 3 carries in 23, was on a practice squad, I assume, all year last year. He didn't play. And then rookie year with the Jets, had a few carries, racked up 300 yards. So when, like I said, Bam Knight and Michael Carter, the Jets GOAT, that's your 2 rushing attack with DeMarcado, James Conner, Trey Benson all out. That's going to be tough.
Hey, he has a cool name.
He does have a cool name. And what's interesting is they don't even have that bad of a receiving core. Marvin Harrison, of course, and Trey McBride. And then they have a couple good guys I would consider as threes. Like they have Zay Jones, Micah Wilson. They're definitely threes. They're not terrible, that's for sure. They need a stronger 2. But Zay Jones had a really good game, 5 of 79.
Marvin got hurt too, didn't he?
Oh yeah, concussion.
Yeah.
Yep, he's out for a little bit. Which everyone knows how concussions work. He'll probably be out for 2 weeks minimum, if I had to guess. Everyone always says it's day to day, and the player can play the next week. But normally they miss the next week.
Except if you're Tua.
Yeah, and then he'll just get another concussion.
Then he'll just go in the next game, get another concussion, and then it's like a stacking effect until he's just gone.
Ironically, we're talking about how Tua lost and called his teammates out. Lost to the Chargers. Herbert had an incredible pass. I don't know if you saw, driving out of the game less than a minute and a half, less than a minute. They're down by 1. The Chargers were crazy escaped a sack, ran up in the pocket, stepped up, threw on the run to Ladd McConkey, who had an incredible game. Ladd McConkey made a couple swift moves, ran out of bounds, and then they got a field goal to win the game. They escaped disaster. That would have been a terrible loss to the Dolphins, but Herbert played really well. He was only sacked once for a loss of 1. Kamani Vidal is your leading back, 24-year-old out of Troy. So if you remember, Amarian Hampton is out for a couple of weeks. Najee Harris, I believe he tore his Achilles. He's out for the year. So they're really going to have to rely on the receiving core, which is thankfully pretty good. Ladd McConkey led the way with Quentin Johnston out this week. Don't know why. I assume he's hurt. But Aronde Gadsden II, tight end out of Syracuse, rookie tight end. Never heard of this guy in my life. He had an incredible game. Looks like it was first or best game of his career, probably both. 7 of 8 for 68. So what are you thinking about the Chargers after this week?
I pulled up my screenshot I took from the day of the game. It's just a comment about Tua that I thought was insanely funny. Don't worry, Tua and his insane arm strength will definitely pull this one off.
Yeah, I'm sure Tyreek Hill made that comment if I had to guess. But Tua had 3 picks in this game. He was sacked twice. Jalen Waddle looked good. No one else looked good. I mean, Devon Achane actually had a really good game, 128 on 16 carries, averaging 8 yards a carry. It's crazy. 2 touchdowns. Had a really long run. So Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, great job. Everyone else, not so much. And I actually really like Tua as a Georgia fan. I don't like him, but in the NFL, he's a strong Christian guy. He seems like a really stand-up type of guy. He's good.
Until he pulls Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I don't know why he trashed his teammates, saying they didn't show up to team-only meetings. I think that's ridiculous. I'm sure everyone has that same opinion, but you all know you don't publicly trash your teammates. That never works.
I think it was pretty funny, though.
Oh, sure.
I mean, like, dude, you can't say that and expect your team to be like, yeah, I totally understand why you would say that. I think we need to work on the no. He's gonna 100% just get sacked every time this next game. Every single time the O line is just gonna open up wide and say, all right, give him CT.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because it's the Browns that they play next week.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
Browns have really good defense. Myles Garrett, of course. So good game out of some Dolphins, not as good of a game out of their defense late in the game. Chargers barely pulled that off. This one was interesting. The Patriots improved to 4-2. They won 25-19. Drake May just continues to look good. Didn't throw a pick, ran for 28 yards. Trevion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson did absolutely nothing on the ground. Stevenson, 13 carries for 18 yards. Problem is, New England has 0 receivers. They have Mac Hollins, who's actually really funny. I don't know if you've seen him on social media, but he does these videos where he's like a dad, and he's like, how to.
Oh, I have seen
how
those,
to
yeah.
Screw in a light bulb, how to change a tire. And it's actually really wholesome and cool. He seems like a great guy. He played the Falcons last year or 2 years ago, one of the two. But anyway, outside of 75-year-old Stephon Diggs, they have no receivers at all. They need to really focus on that in the new draft because it looks like Drake May actually is an incredibly good quarterback, and Spencer Rattler is not, but we already knew that. So what are you thinking about this one?
I think, honestly, the Patriots probably have found their just franchise quarterback at this point now because, moving on from Tom Brady, there's a lot of shoe to fill, but, I think Drake May could do it.
Yeah.
Just insane games every single time he comes out there.
Through 6 games, he's thrown for 1,500 yards passing, 73% completions, 10 touchdowns to only 2 picks. Just for reference, through 13 games played last year, he only had 700 less passing yards. So he's probably going to break that, I would say, easily within the next 2 games.
Yeah.
Strongly outperforming last year, his rookie year, of course, where their offensive line was absolutely terrible. Spencer Rattler had a bunch of dump-offs in this game, but finished 20-26 for 227. No touchdowns. Kamara didn't have a very good game at all rushing. Of course, he got involved receiving-wise. Chris Olave had a solid game. I don't think he got a concussion. Hopefully, 6 of 98. Jawan Johnson had a fumble. He's really fallen off. Jawan Johnson looks really good through the first 3 weeks, and it actually really makes me upset because I was very happy to pick him up off of waivers in my fantasy league after, I think it was after week 1, and he had 2 good games after that, but he's just not been involved whatsoever over the last 3 weeks in the offense. What are you laughing at?
The first comment, yep, his run is over.
Who, Rattler?
No, Johnson.
Oh, yeah. He's done.
Yep, he's
Taysom Hill has been hurt all year, and I forgot who their other Foster Moreau. He's not a good tight end, but he's the other tight end who came back from injury recently. So, well, not that anyone cares about the Saints. I certainly don't as a Falcons fan, but we'll see what happens with that. Moving on, Rico Dowdle. I don't know, man. I don't know what's gotten into this guy. I don't know if he's doing that. I think I already made a joke about this in a previous podcast, so forgive me if you remember this joke or as I say it, but I think Rico Dowdle is taking the Chad Ochocinco method of, like, what was it, Viagra and Red Bull before every single game, because he's sure playing like it. 30 carries. First of all, giving Rico Dowdle 30 carries is disgusting. After last week, it's not as disgusting, but he has 472 yards rushing. Basically, it's through all 6 games, but he wasn't the full-time guy until last week. So 183 on the ground this game, 56 more through the passing game with the touchdown, and unfortunately for the Cowboys, the Cowgirls, they lost again. Bryce Young had a pretty solid game, 3 touchdowns. What are you thinking about this one?
Dude, I honestly, I wasn't familiar with his game until recently when my roommate brought it up. But Rico is like, he's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he must have taken Viagra because the way he was running that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Funny joke.
I mean, 4 receptions, like, sure, okay, that's fine. And then 30 carries on top of that. Are you trying to kill the man?
Yeah.
Are
So
Like, seriously.
just for reference, he had a really good back half of last season with the Cowboys. Of course, they've been looking for basically a new running back to replace Ezekiel Elliott since Zeke left a few years ago, and I think they definitely found it with Javonte Williams. We'll get to that here in a second. But Rico Dowdle threw his last 6 games last year with the Cowboys. In late November, 112 yards rushing, 131 yards rushing, 149 yards rushing. He only had 23 against the Bucs, but the Bucs probably have the best rushing game defensively. Stop on the run in all of football. And then he had 104 rushing yards against the Eagles and 72 more against the Commanders. So maybe we should have expected it. I certainly didn't. I mean, with Chuba, they just have such a dysfunctional, the Panthers, really dysfunctional running core with, I mean, you drafted Trevor Etienne, but he's not really done anything this year. You know, you have Chuba Hubbard, who's been really good since Christian McCaffrey left a couple of years ago. He's consistently hurt. And then your golden boy, Jonathan Brooks, who keeps tearing his ACL, is going to be out all of this year. So the fact that you're relying on Rico Dowdle and he's performing this well really helps you out. I also, even as a Georgia fan, maybe this is bad for me to say, I've never liked George Pickens in the NFL. I know. With the Steelers, he was terrible. He was their one, maybe it was quarterback play. I don't know. I don't know if he played with Big Ben, but he sure didn't play like it his rookie year. And you might have to fact check me on that. I don't remember when Big Ben retired. Either way, it doesn't matter who their quarterback has been over the last few years. George Pickens sucked as the one. George Pickens does not suck as the one. For the Cowboys, he had 168 yards receiving, 9 receptions.
I totally forgot. We forgot to add a game into the talk about points, Eagles and Giants. But so I didn't unfortunately play fantasy this year, but I mean, I would have never expected like half of these people to be as good as they are. I mean, you got Daniel Jones putting up an MVP season. You got Jackson Dart kind of coming out of nowhere. You have Rico Dowdle. You have Cam Scadaboo. It's like all these rookies and young guys are coming in, and they are just outperforming everybody else that's in the room with them. Mm-hmm. So a good draft season this year, obviously, turning into a cool season altogether. I mean, we haven't seen like teams this high up, like the Colts 5-1. We haven't seen that since the early 2000s with Andrew Luck. So I mean, like, where like this draft class must have been so insane that it just shifted the entire NFL as a whole.
Just for a little reference, since CeeDee Lamb got hurt in week 2, George Pickens 5 receptions for 68 and a touchdown, 8 for 134, 2 touchdowns, 2 for 57 and a touchdown, and 9 for 168 and a touchdown. He's 3rd in receiving yards this year, tied for 1st in touchdowns with 6. George Pickens is playing like a one. He's acting like a one, and I guarantee he's staring at his TV, talking to himself like a one.
What did CD do? I forgot.
Ankle.
Was it fractured?
No, I think it was sprained.
Is he back next week?
I'd have to look it up. I don't know when exactly. I know it's soon.
Yeah.
But I think he was going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks is the original diagnosis, but it looks like he's trending toward a return in week 7. Suffered a high ankle sprain in week 3. And
that's right. I remember reading about that now.
So we'll see what happens to George Pickens after CD returns. Of course, he's going to take a backseat to CD just like everyone else and their mom would. But I don't think that DeAndre Swift takes a backseat to anyone this past game. He had a really good game, 14 of 108, helped the Bears win in a close one on Monday Night Football. I don't think anyone was expecting it to be close because the Bears were up 13-0. It was boring. Everyone was watching the Falcons-Bucs game, or at least I was. And then Commanders pulled it back late. They had a late fumble in the fourth quarter that helped set up a game-winning field goal as time expired for Jake Moody and the Bears. Bears won 25-24 and improve to 3-2. Caleb Williams had a pretty solid game, painted his fingernails for Monday Night Football. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool for the Caleb Williams fans out there. I am not a fan, but we'll say he has been playing some good football as of late. He has every single mediocre wide receiver to throw to.
I will be right back.
Sure. So, I mean, when you're looking at this stat sheet, it's really hard to figure out who the one is for Chicago, because when you have DJ Moore, who's been the perennial one before they drafted Rome Odunze, who had a mediocre rookie year last year, I think he had 700 yards, something like that. Odunze has played really well over the last few games, but I mean, this week and last week, he had two receptions for only 32 yards last week, 69 yards. Week before that, 62. He had a few touchdowns sprinkled in there, but he's been good, not great. Of course, you have Luther Burden, their higher draft pick this last year. Colson Levelin, another high draft pick from this last year, tight end. So Caleb Williams has a lot to throw to. I know they improved their offensive line a lot, which has really helped them. He was sacked 3 times in this game, but he's only been sacked 10 times this year through the first 5 games of the year for the Bears. So really good win for the Bears. Caleb Williams looks solid. Not look great, not look terrible. He's looked solid. He's thrown for over 200 yards every single game this year. They've won 3 in a row. I mean, you're playing Dallas, who's mediocre. Vegas, of course, is terrible. I won't bash Vegas while Graig is here, but you beat the Commanders, who are mediocre, but everyone's gonna play the same on Monday Night Football, in my opinion. So it's definitely interesting to see what's going on in Chicago. I think Chicago fans should be happy, honestly, with how their team is playing this year. But you're not happy if you're a Ravens fan. Bryce Holbert, I'm sorry if you're listening to this. Everyone and their mom is hurt for the Ravens. I mean, Lamar Jackson is still hurt. I believe Roquan Smith is still hurt. They had Cooper Rush and Tyler Huntley split snaps, and between both of them, they had 117 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick, and a field goal to their name. 17-3 Rams win. I'm actually a big Rams fan. I'm not actually a fan of the team, but I think the Rams are a very good team with a lot of really good pieces. Puka Nacua, of course, got hurt, the golden child for the Rams. He is probably going to miss this week, if I had to guess, and then they have a bye week the week after. But Matthew Stafford has been really healthy this year, and which has really, really helped them. And then, of course, defensively, I mean, they're playing really well defensively. Byron Young had 2 sacks. He had 5 QB hits. Jared Verse had a really good game with the sack, 2 TFLs, 4 QB hits. So when you have 11 QB hits, really good receiving core, Kyron Williams is a good running back, and of course Matthew Stafford. I mean, the Rams, although they're in a tough division, I mean, the Rams are currently 3rd in their division in the NFC West, and they're 4-2 because every team is 4-2 except the Cardinals. So
I joined back at the perfect time. Ravens are the biggest disappointment, biggest bust of the year, whatever you want to call it. Absolute disappointment for all Ravens fans. I had a chat with my old roommate who is a Ravens fan. It was not a pretty chat. It was a lot of curse words being thrown around there, and it was it was pretty funny to hear. Ravens fans are just kind of losing their minds this year now. I mean, they go from Super Bowl contenders the past how many years now at this point?
Yeah, a bunch.
Yeah, and then falling off a cliff into the Jets territory of almost completely defeated every single game. The only one game that they've won was against the Colts, which is the craziest twist of fate, because the Colts are now, or I guess we can get to that when time comes, but I mean, not an easy team to beat, and the only loss the Colts actually have. So all I can say is RIP Ravens. They're done this season.
Yeah, Derrick Henry had a good game, which is, I mean, not surprising.
When doesn't he?
Well, this year. I mean, the game log won't pull up, but the last few weeks he has not played well at all. So he had 23 rushing yards against Cleveland, 50 rushing yards against the Lions, 42 against the Chiefs, 33 against the Texans. So that's
that's a lot worse than
150 rushing yards over 4 games for the King. He had 122, no fumbles, this past week against the Rams. So Derrick Henry looks better, but he's about the only player on their team at this point.
The only player on the team with a brain and the knowledge for football.
Speaking of the only player on the team, Joe Flacco traded to the Bengals midweek. I believe it was Tuesday of last week. He was expected to start. He did start. He played well. No picks, which is surprising because it's Joe freaking Flacco. Chase Brown had an incredibly mediocre game. Jamar Chase had a really good game. But it doesn't matter because they lost.
Packers are that team, I guess.
Matthew Golden had a good game, 3 of 86, 5 targets. Romeo Doubs actually led the team in targets, 5 of 55. Jordan Love really threw the ball around a lot. Give everyone a bunch of targets. What are we thinking about this one?
I do miss my boy Josh Jacobs. I mean, he's still putting in work on the Green Bay offense, but I mean, Joe Flacco was kind of a trade that I was not expecting to happen, especially to the Bengals of all teams. But I mean, so far it seems to have worked out at least better than what they have.
Yeah.
I mean, 2-4 is still nothing to be scared of, but I think Joe Flacco is definitely probably the best move for them at this moment.
Yeah, so it's interesting. DJ Turner the second, 24-year-old out of Michigan for the Bengals, cornerback. He had 5 passes defended this past week, which is disgusting in one game. He has 11 this year, which leads the league. So I guess, and Trey Hendrickson got hurt in this game. I'm pretty sure he was taken out midway through. I don't know exactly what the update is on him, but that maybe Hendrickson isn't the only defender that the Bengals have. But I mean, you got to be in shambles if you're a Bengals fan. Just ship Burrow to China until next year and just pray that you get a top 5 pick.
I mean, they're almost identical to the Ravens right now. They both went from serious playoff contenders to absolute dumpster fire seasons.
All because of one injury.
One injury. I mean, I'm sure the same would go with the Rams. I'm sure the same would go with, I would say the Chiefs, but I mean, honestly, probably not, knowing their depth. 49ers, you've seen it, all of their injury, but I mean, that's a combination of 500 different injuries that they've had this year.
So what's really interesting about the 49ers is no matter who they play at quarterback, they look good. Mac Jones had 347 passing yards. Let me say that again. Mac Jones had 347 passing yards for the San Francisco 49ers on what day of the week? What date was this? On the 12th of October, 2025, in the year of our Lord. That blows my mind. They still lost to the Bucs because the Bucs are really good.
They only put up 19
too. He had 2 picks. He was sacked 6 times. Christian McCaffrey didn't do great on the ground. Kendrick Bourne, 5 of 142, receiving on 9 targets. I mean, Kendrick Bourne has played well over the last 2 weeks. It's a really ugly neck tattoo he needs to get rid of. But
See, I would be absolutely just pissed off if I was Mac Jones right now. 350 yards is a career game for some quarterbacks. And I mean, like, dude, only putting up 19 runs and then losing to the Bucks by 30. I mean, defense has to be addressed that night, and the offense needs to just wake up.
so Kendrick Bourne, I'm sure if you're listening, you know him as a Patriot wide receiver. He actually played for the 49ers from 2017 through 2020. Mediocre wide receiver 2 at best. Never put up more than 667 yards receiving. Went to the Pats for 4 years and then went back to. Do you need something? I didn't think so. Nope.
I thought you did that on purpose.
Of course I did not. Went back to the 49ers, did nothing for the first 4 weeks, and the last 2 weeks he's put up 142 yards back-to-back weeks. He's been their leading wide receiver. I mean, when you have Ricky Pearsall, Brandon Ayuk out, Deebo Samuel, of course, is gone. They have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, MVS, Kendrick Bourne, and Demarcus Robinson as their top 3 wide receivers, and Mac Jones still found a way to put up 350 yards. Bucks are really good. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Baker Mayfield is incredibly good. It was, I'm going to say this objectively, not subjectively, it was good to see the Bucks actually win a game before the last drive of the game. Because as I talk about every single week, the Bucks tend, and Baker Mayfield does this to himself, I guess. I don't know. But I think it was four weeks in a row, the Bucks won or lost the game on the last drive of the game. Baker Mayfield had the ball under 2 minutes to go 4 times. They were 3-1 in those games. Good to see the Bucks not do that and actually kind of dominate. Rashad White had a good game in Bucky Irving's absence. Bucky Irving won't be back next week, maybe the week after. We don't know. But any final thoughts on this game?
Baker Mayfield doesn't have the dog in him. All of the dogs have Baker Mayfield in them.
I'm sorry.
Because Baker Mayfield and the dog are just a one at this point. He is insane. Bringing the Bucks once again. There's a lot of like quarterbacks like, oh, we just had Tom Brady. We need a generational quarterback now. And then all of a sudden someone steps up and they're just like, okay, I'll do it. I mean, Baker Mayfield is he the first quarterback, like best quarterback in the league right now?
I don't know if he's the best. He's certainly playing the best.
I think he's ranked first.
Everyone's chanting MVP. It's been 6 weeks.
I don't think he's going to get MVP.
He's not. I would like to say he's been the best this year. He is not the best quarterback. No. There's a difference.
I feel like there are 2 contentions for MVP right now. It is Danny Jones and Baker Mayfield.
No, Bijan's crazy. We'll get to that. Bijan. I don't have a case for it, but I have some stats that I have in an article coming out later this week that I'll talk about. You know who is somehow in the MVP talk only because of who he is Patrick Mahomes. They really dismantled the Lions. They beat them 30-17. Mahomes, 257, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Pacheco had a really mediocre game. Travis Kelce had a good game. I mean, when you have Juju, Hollywood Brown as your 2 and 3, targets-wise, no one's going to get excited. Xavier Worthy did nothing.
No.
2 of 24 targets. They get Rashee Rice next week, which is good for my fantasy team. I hope he does well. I hope no one else on the team does well. I will go ahead and get this out of the way. I don't know who Connor Orr is. He has been a sports writer for Sports Illustrated since 2018, senior writer, so I guess I do know who he is because I'm currently reading his bio, co-hosts some podcast.
Are we sure he's not Tony Romo?
I wouldn't be surprised because this guy made top 20 or top 10 power rankings for Sports Illustrated. I saw this on Instagram. I found the article about it.
he literally made us make a ranking for this episode alone.
Yeah, because we got so mad about this. So just ignore 6 through 10. That doesn't matter. Top 5. Just picture in your head the good teams in the NFL, whether you disagree with how closely ranked they are, whether you think the Lions should be 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 or whatever. Just ignore that. Think about the absurdity at number 1. So you have the Lions at 5. They're 4-2. You have the Colts at 4. They're 5-1. Seahawks at 3. They're 4-2. The Bucks at 2. They're 5-1. In last week, this man, Mr. Orr, ranked the Kansas City Chiefs number 12. They beat the Lions, and he moves them up to number 1. They're 3-3 this year. They have been incredibly inconsistent. That's been the name of the game for the Chiefs, is they can't stay consistent. Yes, they have injuries. Yes, they have suspended players, but so does everyone else. Patrick Mahomes has played well over the last 3 weeks. I mean, 11 touchdowns for only 2 picks this year, 1,500 passing yards. So he's having a good game, or excuse me, a good year. But the Chiefs as a whole are not having a good year, especially to the Chiefs standards. I mean, they lost to the Chargers to open the year. They lost to the Eagles second game, so they're 0-2. They lost to the Jags last week, which the Jags are incredibly mediocre. Beat the Giants and Ravens. So they've had a gauntlet of a schedule. I'll give them that, but you're not going to give them number 1. That's ridiculous.
I mean, they're not even second place in their own division.
I don't have them in my top 10. Spoiler alert.
They're
okay. Maybe I'll put them at 10.
I was going to say that. I mean, they're still probably going to make the playoffs, unfortunately. But
yeah.
I mean, still, dude, and the game was not even remotely fair. The Chiefs walked away at that game 0 penalties. The entire 4 quarters, 0 penalties. The Lions walked away with, 9 or 10, I think. I remember very vividly Jared Goff decided to step away and receive the ball for a walk-in touchdown for him.
Yeah.
He managed to pull it off, but they sent him back because of illegal movement, which had
man in motion.
It's just insane. I think the Chiefs shouldn't be rated top 5, let alone top 8. They're not. They're 3rd place in the AFC West, behind the Broncos and the Chargers. I mean, how are you number 1 in football if you can't even be number 1 in your division?
Yeah, that's how I have it on my rankings. We'll get to that in a minute. Rushing attack for the Lions did absolutely nothing. Jared Goff had a good game, but I mean, he only threw the ball to Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Other than 2 dump offs to running backs, or 2 running backs with a couple dump offs each, he threw routes to 3 receivers. So the Chiefs, yes, they have a good secondary. McDuffie, that's his name, right? Where
Trent
is he?
McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie he's a good cornerback. But the Chiefs do not deserve that treatment whatsoever. They don't deserve 1. They don't deserve 5. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Real quick, we're going to pull up the Eagles and the Giants game because Greg wants to talk about that game.
Heck yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Dude, I don't know why. At the beginning of the year, I was kind of like, oh, the Giants are going to do pretty terrible. No one's going to be noteworthy. But honestly, Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo have been unreal. I mean, Cam, the human wrecking ball, the dude just – I mean, I made a minute edit, which took me like a good hour and a half to make for TikTok and all that stuff on Cam Scatterbo. Because, I mean, just looking at his highlights the past 3 games he's had, that dude is scary. I couldn't imagine being matched up 1-on-1, let alone 2-on-1 against this dude. I mean, 3 touchdown, 19 carries, 110 yards. That's really good. And I do have to talk about a more sad note. Russell Wilson, he comes out for one attempt and gets booed off the field.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was really sad.
Brian Dable was pissed too. Did
Was
you
he?
see? Yeah, not because he got booed, but because he went in the injury tent with Jackson Dart to check on him to get them to hurry up so that they can get him back on the field. And it was this whole thing with the guy who was in charge, the medical guy, came out and had a public statement. It was wild. Brian Dable. I mean, I've said this on my other podcast. I think he should have been fired last year.
Yeah.
After last year, I've never been a Brian Daboll fan. I will continue to not be a Brian Daboll fan, but Cam Scattaboo and Jackson Dart, you got to be happy with those two rookies.
Yeah.
They need to figure it out at wide receiver without Malik Neighbors, though. Wan'Dale Robinson has been good. I guess he's a good two. I don't really know.
He's definitely not a core.
No, he's not. I mean, he been incredibly mediocre throughout his career until a few good games this year. 24-year-old out of Kentucky. So, I mean, if you're an Eagles fan, man, you're going to be concerned. Saquon Barkley isn't having – and, of course, you expected him to regress. He's not going to rush for 2,000 yards again or close to that. But he is really, really, really regressing. A.J. Brown had a good game. There's been a lot of drama with that. Dallas Goedert, 9 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown. This is a 30-year-old who has done he's just been a mediocre tight end his whole career. Been in the NFL since 2018, been consistently hurt ever since 2020. He's never had a full year since his rookie year. And he had an incredibly good game, but you need to be a little bit concerned if you're an Eagles fan. They lost back-to-back weeks. Of course, they lost last week to the Broncos, lose by 2 scores this week to the Giants. You get the Vikings next week. That might be a get-right game, depending on whether or not J.J. McCarthy plays.
And, I mean, losing to the Giants is like, yeah, that's pretty bad. But, I mean, losing 34-17. I mean, yeah, the Giants' offense right now is scary, other than the receiving core, obviously. But, like, I mean, only putting up 17 on the Giants' defense and then continuously just not playing well on offense is not good for the Eagles.
And it's interesting because the last 4 weeks, going back to last week, put up 21 points on the Broncos. Broncos, mediocre. They have a good defense. The Bucs have a good defense. They put up 31 points against the Bucs. The Rams have a really good defense, put up 33 points against the Rams. And, I mean, the key really has been the passing. When you get A.J. Brown involved, he had over 100 yards against the Rams. When you get the passing game going, then they can really rely on the run a little bit more. The run's going to be more effective. I mean, A.J. Brown wasn't involved at all against the Bucs. They still put out that win probably because of course, you got the blocked punt, the blocked field goal. That was a wild game. But any final thoughts on this game?
If you've drafted Cam Scattaboo and Jackson Dart, you got to be happy.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Cam is, I mean, you knew he was going to be good. I mean, he was obviously a killer in college, and, I mean, he's just brought that forth into the NFL with him.
All right. It is time for the 2-minute warning presented by Jeffrey and Greg.
Shouldn't we do the ranking first?
This week. Sure. We can do the
Wait, do you want to
rankings.
do that first? Or I mean, we
I already
can do
announced the 2-minute warning. This is all. We're talking about the scores, so let's do the 2-minute warning. We'll do our power rankings and then whatever you want to talk about the bottom real fast. 2-minute warning presented by Jeffrey and Greg. Even though I already said that, we don't have a sponsor yet. No one's reached out to me about a sponsor. If you own a company, if you know someone who owns a company, as long as I support its values, I'll take it. I'll take something for free. You know what I'm saying? And I can get away with supporting specific values that I disagree with. Not all of them, but this podcast isn't about that. Anyway, if you own a company, text me, call me.
What's your number? What's your email?
I'll give you my social. I don't care. Give me a free Red Bull. You know what I mean? Anyway, Raiders finally won. They beat the Titans. Geno Smith, incredibly mediocre. Ashton Genty, also kind of mediocre. I'll give Graig this one.
Gino once again only completed 17 of 23 throws, which I mean, it's a little bit better than what he's been doing, but I mean, still throwing another pick. He is now at 10 for the double digits for the season in 6 games. 6 games? 6 games? I can't remember. Genty, again, 23 carries, only 86 yards. Not very good. Michael Mayer, I believe he got hurt in the game. I don't know if he's still hurt, but he got 5 receptions, 50 yards. And then the rest of the team just didn't really show up. I think Jack Beck should get more carries now. I think Trey Tucker should continue to get more carries because those two have been absolutely dominant the past couple games. I mean, there's not really much else to say. It was a pretty boring game. I mean, 20-10, we win. Titans. I mean, were you really expecting anything from Cam Ward and the Titans? Come on now. Cam Ward did do pretty good, though. 26 for 38, 222 passing yards. They just could not do anything in the end zone.
So the Titans fired their head coach after this game, Brian Callahan, which is pretty embarrassing to fire your head coach the day after you lose to the – no offense – day after you lose to the Raiders. But, I mean, Cam Ward has not been good, and a lot of it has to do with the offensive line. He does not have any time whatsoever to throw the ball. He's been sacked 5, 4, 2, 2, 6 times. That is game logs in the last 5 games. So Cam Ward looks, mediocre. The running game, Tyjae Spears is constantly hurt, but he had a solid game. He's the backup behind Tony Pollard, who I've been trying to trade in fantasy because I'm slightly concerned because everyone's hyping up Tyjae Spears. Tony Pollard just isn't a good running back anymore, unfortunately. 28-year-old out of Memphis. He looks really pissed off in his profile picture on ESPN. Anyway, besides that, anything you want to talk about with this game?
David Martin Robinson, their tight end for the Titans. This game had 1 yard for 1 reception for 1 touchdown.
Shout out this guy from Temple.
He's the one man, I guess, today.
That is his only stat this year.
Seriously? That was his first reception total?
That is, he had 1 reception on 2 targets for 6 yards last year. And
wow.
Yeah.
1 yard, 1 reception,
So
1 touchdown.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
I'm going to back up from the mic. Yes! Hopefully that didn't hurt your ears. The Atlanta Falcons look really good in this game. Their defense looked really good. They came out swinging. They had a chance to go up 28-7 at halftime, driving down the field, pass over the middle. Instead of getting down and calling a timeout, Drake London caught the ball, saw he had 1 man to beat as time expired in the second quarter, going into halftime, caught the ball, ran, dove and was stepped out of bounds at the half-yard line, diving into the end zone. Would have helped me in fantasy, would have won me a week. Doesn't matter for the Falcons, though, because they won 24-14 over the Buffalo Bills. Coming out of the bye week, there are a lot of questions. The Falcons have been really inconsistent, so moving forward, that's really what you're going to have to look at from a Falcons perspective. But Bijan Robinson, man, gosh, I absolutely love him. Bijan Robinson, he had an incredible game. So this is my quick plug in my article that's coming out hopefully tomorrow. I don't know when exactly it's going to get posted. But anyway, I said Robinson joined Hall of Famer Thurman Thomas as being the only 2 players to have 450 rushing and at least 300 receiving yards through the first 5 games in NFL history. Let's hear that again. He had 450 or more rushing and 300 or more receiving yards through the first 5 games in NFL history. Thurman Thomas also went on to win the MVP that year in 1991. He has the most yards from scrimmage through 5 games in Falcons history. And he has 822 yards, which is leading the NFL. 822 yards from scrimmage. So Bijan Robinson had a great game. 170 yards rushing. Of course, he had that really long 81-yard touchdown run. Drake London went off, silenced the doubters. He was the only – think about this. Drake London was the only Atlanta Falcons wide receiver with a reception in this game. That is how bad Atlanta's wide receiver core has gotten. Darnell Mooney has continued to be hurt. They are not getting Raylan McLeod involved whatsoever. He did not play in this game. Casey Washington had 2 targets, no receptions. Michael Pennis looked really good, 250 yards, touchdown. He had a couple scrambles that were pretty solid. One almost got a first down. I wish he, I like the Jackson Dart, not bulldoze type, but you fight for your yards. You fight for your team. You plow ahead. I like that style from your quarterback, but D. Alford had a good game, 3 passes defended. A.J. Terrell had a good game. The Bills looked terrible. Josh Allen looked confused. He had two really bad picks. James Cook had a pretty solid game, passing the ball around to pretty much everyone who exists on their team. Ty Johnson actually had a bunch of snaps. He's a pretty solid receiving back. He's their 3 behind Ray Davis. But, I mean, Falcons fans, you got to be excited. Like I said, consistency is what the Falcons need desperately over the next few weeks. I mean, you got a really difficult schedule coming up. We got the 49ers on Sunday Night Football this week. Then the Dolphins, which, of course, is the Dolphins. Then you got the Pats and Colts. And then you go and host Carolina. So you got 3 teams that are either 4-2 or 5-1. You got the Dolphins, of course, who are bad, and then Carolina, who beat us 30-0 a few weeks ago. Any thoughts?
Oh no, Falcons are pretty mid. No, I'm just kidding. I was sad because I really do like Josh Allen, and just seeing him out there just absolute lost was pretty sad. The interception 4th quarter, that was it. No chance to come back from that one. But I mean, you said pretty much everything I was thinking of. That was just a really good game for the Falcons. Everything went right. And I need to draft Bijan next Sunday because I didn't realize he was doing that good.
Mm-hmm. So that was a 2-minute warning presented by Graig and Jeffrey and Graig. Now we're going to go through quickly NFL power rankings. Our NFL power rankings, and like Greg said, the only reason why we're doing this is because that Orr guy sucks.
Tony Romo's son
Doesn't know football. In my opinion, you're welcome to have your own opinion. You're welcome to disagree. I don't care. You're wrong. Number 10. I will give it to them. The Chiefs have played well. In their wins, they have looked good. They've beat decent teams. They've been close in against decent teams, but they're still 3-3 and have been offensively inconsistent. The Broncos, I have at 9. The Broncos have also been inconsistent. Same with the Chargers at 8. When you're almost losing to the Dolphins and you have to come from behind with less than a minute to go in the game to beat the 1 at the time 4 Dolphins, you got some work to do. They looked really good through the first 3 games, not as much through the last 3 games. Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, 10, 9, 8, 7. I have the Packers. Packers have looked good. Jordan Love, the receiving core, is all over the place. Defensively, they've looked good. Michael Parsons has played well. I have the Rams at 6. I actually really like the Rams. I think I could put them above the Seahawks, to be honest. But let's see. I think they already played. And this, who won? Let's see. Rams, really quickly. So sorry. I don't already have this ready. Yeah. The Seahawks beat the Rams. And no, they haven't played. What? Anyway, that's besides the point. All right, we're going to do that then. Rams at 5, Seahawks at 6. Then I got the Eagles at 4. Eagles have looked good, except their offense. They can't figure it out. They're not consistent. Need to get A.J. Brown involved. Need to open up that passing game so that Saquon Barkley can bounce back. They know better than I do, but maybe they don't. 49ers have looked good even with Mac Jones at the helm of the last few weeks. Maybe they don't need Brock Purdy. Maybe they do. Yes, I know they lost. I don't care about recency bias. Recency bias does not matter to me. It does in some situations, not this. I had the 49ers at 3, Colts at 2. Indiana Jones looks super, super good. Rushing game, Jonathan Taylor has looked really good. Their receivers leave a lot to be desired. But I have the Bucs at 1. No questions asked. Go ahead.
Mine is a lot more controversial, to be honest. 10, I also agree. Chiefs. I mean, they're just not it right now. It's not even close. Not even a top 3. I don't think they will be top 3 the rest of the year. 9, I have the Commanders. I mean, they've been good, but again, like you said, it's a consistency issue. They need a lot better, a lot sooner. 8, I have Bills. Bills are, I hate to put them that low, but I mean, like, you have so many teams that are outperforming them right now, especially with how good they are with their whole offense and defense. Again, not consistent at all. Chargers are next. Chargers have been pretty scary, especially facing my Raiders. That was awful. I hated every second of that. They just showed no quarrel, gave us no quarter, and they just dunk on them if they have the chance. Number 5 was it?
I don't know.
Next, Eagles. Obviously, Eagles are good. Most likely are going to easily make the playoffs so long as they keep playing the way they're playing. Again, not too much to be desired. Definitely not another MVP year for Saquon, but you know. Next, I have the Seahawks, bird to bird. Seahawks just look a little bit better, and I believe that they have a true potential to make it further than the Eagles. I don't know if that's crazy. I don't know if that's a crazy take, but 4, we have the Lions. Lions.
Oh
obviously.
my gosh, I don't have the Lions or the Bills on here.
I see. When you were naming
I don't
some of
know
that, I was
ball.
like, dude, I totally forgot.
know
Lions
ball.
are 4 for me. I think the Lions are obviously going to make a playoff push, and they are probably going to make the Super Bowl. It really depends on how well Jared Goff continues to do.
Lions are 8 for me. Bills are 9. Chiefs are 10. I replaced the Broncos and Chargers. Chargers have fallen off the cliff for me.
Have they?
Sorry, Charlie Q, if you're listening, my friend.
3, Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is killing it again. Old man Rodgers. I think they are going to put up a good season this year. I mean, maybe it is Aaron Rodgers. We will see. But as of right now, I believe that their power is a lot better than people say. 2, Tampa Bay. Obviously, got to go Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay looks crazy right now. Easy playoff push.
At 2?
Mm-hmm. At 2, Tampa Bay at 2. Number 1, Colts. Easy. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, not Jaden Daniels. Dude, why can I not think of his name right now?
Who are you trying to think of?
Indiana Jones. There we go. I was trying to think of the nickname they gave him. Indiana Jones has come out of nowhere from the New York Giants and has absolutely stunned the entire league with how good he is playing. It is absolutely insane how he can come from one of the worst quarterbacks to an MVP season in a year's time, but he's been killing it. I mean, there's nothing else about it. He has Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs. I think he is rated number 1 running back right now. It's either that
Bijan.
or Bijan.
Bijan.
Who's first?
Bijan.
Bijan? Yeah. Bijan's first, and I believe Jonathan Taylor's probably second with how well he's been playing.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's my ratings. I think Colts are going to make the Super Bowl if they keep playing the way they are playing, which is Colts and Super Bowl in the same sentence is a crazy sentence. I realize that, but honestly, the team they have right now could put it together.
Got to keep it up. Those are the NFL power rankings, our NFL power rankings through 6 weeks. We're going to talk a little MLB playoffs.
Ooh,
The Tigers are out. They
that
went
was sad.
8 for 51.
15 innings, 8 hits for both teams.
Yeah.
Very bad.
The most absurd Game 5 you will ever see in the I don't know ball at all. In the American League Division Series, ALDS. Disgusting. I went to bed. I didn't even care who won. I was fine with either team as long as it wasn't the Yankees or Dodgers. Of course, the Dodgers are going to make the World Series. We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah.
But
I am very pissed off at the Brewers. Knock out the Cubs, only to go into the NLCS and absolutely do nothing.
And I hate the Brewers. It's my least favorite team. So when you have the Brewers and the Dodgers in the same series, one of them makes the playoffs, one of them doesn't. I'm rooting for American League all the way. I hope the Mariners. Honestly, I've actually always liked the Blue Jays. Jose Bautista, we had that massive home run bat flip in like 2017. Got in that big fight with Rougned Odor. I've always liked them since then. Edwin Encarnacion. And yeah.
We also got to talk about the Blue Jays. What happened?
I don't know.
It's the same thing with the Brewers. I mean, had an incredible season. Make the playoffs, look dominant throughout, get to the championship series, fall off a cliff completely.
Off the bed. Yep.
Blue
I don't know, man.
Jays are down 2-0 to Seattle. Seattle is looking incredibly dominant, and they play tonight. I think no, it's just them tonight. Tomorrow, both of them play, I believe. Yep, both of them play. So once again, Dodgers are going to make the World Series, unfortunately. All of the hating that we've both done has not worked. I mean, it's annoying. What can I say? It's just annoying.
Philly Doomsday Flyers is what you put on here. We already talked about the Eagles. Of course, the Phillies got crushed in the NODS. So Eagles lost, Phillies knocked out of the playoffs, and Penn State lost $45 million, their head coach in a football game. They are well out of the top 25 in college football. If you live in Philadelphia this time last year, you were loving life.
Yeah.
You didn't know the Eagles were going to win the Super Bowl, but they did. Phillies let down, of course, in the playoffs, per usual, but had a good year overall, similar to this year.
It was just.
But Penn State was good.
The Thursday was just awful. Phillies get knocked out of the playoffs by, of course, the Dodgers. Eagles get shredded by the Giants. Flyers also lose. I mean, Flyers have been a terrible NHL team, but I mean, it doesn't look to be getting any better. And Penn State, as you said, lost all of that on the same day. And it has just been a terrible day for Philly, but I'm sure they will be on the up and up this week.
Have any last thoughts?
Go Raiders.
Thank you for listening. As always, if you're hearing my voice, shoot me a text. Thank you. Appreciate you for listening. Thanks for watching, whatever you're doing. I don't even care if you like or comment. Just text me. That's really all I want. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us. Just two guys talking about sports.
Hit us up.
IUS Horizon Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Robinson. This is Graig Enders. I
I'm
hope
your
you
co-host.
guys have a great day, great week. Go Reds. Go Falcons. Go Dogs.
I hate to break this to you. The Reds are gone.
And God bless.